You're given immortality, but as a cost you are sent back 3,000 years. Would you accept, and what would you do?
Cost? That's like getting 2 superpowers for the price of 1. Immortality and the ability to divine the future. Depending on the type of immortality in question, I would definitely accept. Would probably end up going full supervillain with it though. Either that or Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court style of Mad Wizard. I would become a monk and record history until we reached modern-ish technology.
God, no, I wouldn't. Imagine watching 3,000 years of civilization crumble and change, knowing what's going to happen to certain people and countries, being incapable of doing anything for fear of messing up the future 21st century where you would be able to see your loved ones again, only for them to die in what, at that point, would feel like a brief moment in time for your 3 millennia old selves. I wouldn't want that.
If there were no catch, I don't think I would do it. However, this question reminded me of Dante's Inferno, in which the first layer consists of those who were punished by God and are forced into a mild suffering of the first level of hell. Essentially, stuck there for eternity. Existing isn't so bad in a garden in hell, but when you start thinking about eternity, and having not much of a purpose, the phrase, as boring as heaven, really starts to manifest. Immortality and eternity is a crazy thing to think about.
If a genie granted me this, then no way in hell am I accepting. I've read enough Reddit thread to know he's F-king with me somehow. There's different types of immortality, like not being able to die, but can still age, being reborn over and over again like a phoenix, etc. But if Op granted me this and there's no catch, and immortality specifically refers to staying the current healthy state I am right now forever, then bruv, sure, why not, tilde tilde tilde. I guess I'll FK with some cave paintings until Jesus comes about.
Yes. And I'd not marry my first wife. Bitch.
Can I bring my dog?
Immortal as in can die of old age, or as in can't die, period? If it's the latter, fuck it, sure. I've always wanted to see history. I'm also curious about the far future, best of both worlds. I'd miss a lot about this life that I could almost certainly not go back to, although I could befriend my current friends later in life. I suppose family would be more difficult, but given enough time you can get over just about anything. Whether or not history would be changed by my actions, I'd try to keep a fairly low profile, no taking over countries or declaring myself immortal god king. I'd try to learn as much as possible, maybe pursue all the martial arts I could, both with and without weapons, see how much I could master given enough time. Maybe apprentice with a blacksmith, a mason, or a woodworker, learn practical skills that I could keep revisiting over time to keep them up to date. Once medicine starts to develop, I'd study that as well. Some medical knowledge is always nice to have. I would travel, both to hide my immortality by moving a lot, as well as to see the world throughout history. If I read up on history a bit, I might try to line my travels up with important events. Also, I would hide gold and other valuable resources in various places, for later use. Ideally enough to not mind if some of it gets found over the years. I could keep writing about stuff to do all day, but I'll end it here for now.
I'd do it. Then start leaving tablets and papyrus around in modern English, in my own handwriting, with weirdly specific predictions, like the house at address in the year 2015 will be blue. Just to watch people flip out.
Only if my so can go with me. Gotta have an immortal wife too, man. I'm not living forever losing wife after wife after wife. And if we have kids, they're immortal too. And what would I do? Just live. Experience it all. Travel the world over and over again. Meet famous characters from history and see if they live up to their current bios.
Send me back to ancient Egypt with immortality so I can hang with the other immortals from that period and see how they mold this world and the others.
I'd do 2 chicks at once.
No thanks, being a woman 3,000 years ago isn't worth it. Edit, this didn't get downvoted to oblivion? Reddit, you amuse me.
Can I take stuff with me? Send back where 3,000 years? Immortality can also mean a lot of things, eternal life but not eternal youth, for example, and could I self-terminate? Going to need this one spelled out. The answers to these questions could change my answer drastically. I'd probably do it anyway just to fix a lot of stupid shit in history.
Absolutely, without hesitance. I'm assuming I do not physically age. I would do my best to not influence how history progresses. Keep it extremely low profile while demystifying as many of the unsolved mysteries of our present time as I can. One I reach the present year and my other self hopefully goes back in time, I will take his place and live on the life I was going to have for as long as people wouldn't raise suspicion over my eternal youth. Edit. Also, I'd buy stock in Apple.
Definitely. I'm fucking immortal, and not only will I live through the next 3,000 years, I can also see the last 3,000. Always wanted to see Jesus' magic shows, I heard he nails it every time.
This is a perfect recipe for a time continuum paradox. If you played your immortality cards right, you'd have no problem becoming influential, prove you can't be killed and become a god king, start your own nation of followers, take advantage of weak points in cultures' histories, etc. Then you'd likely be changing the course of history, and will therefore have never been born to be able to do all this in the first place. Either way, I'm down. Deposit me right into the Greek Dark Ages and let's party.
No, it'll probably get pretty boring after a couple thousand years and I'll have to keep moving because if any of them finds out I am not aging, they might think I am a demon and they will bury me in a hole.
It depends what level of immortality I have. Am I immortal in the sense that I cease aging after a certain point? Am I immortal in the sense that I am invulnerable to physical damage? Will my limbs grow back after losing them? If not, will they decay if I lose them, or can I find them at any point and reattach them? If I transplant part of my body into another person, does that body part retain its immortality? Do I get immunity from all sickness? Do I feel pain? When I get to the present, am I replaced in my family with another entity? It depends on these conditions.
Yes.
I'd make sure that the super intelligent snail can't catch me.
Hell yay. Why would you turn that down?
I'll accept at once. Then go to those orgies the Romans and others used to have. Basically bang my way to the 21st century. Wait, can I get sick? Edit. Whoa. Most upvotes ever.
Can't go now, I have to leave next week. I want to impress the shit out of those dummies with my new iPad. Immortality equals eternal youth or invulnerability. Now, say you mean something like Wolverine's healing factor, then fuck yeah, sign me up. I'll just make myself a god to the people, then get myself trapped in the ruins of my own temple while trying to transfer my consciousness to gain more power, only to wake up in the 80s. Seems good.
Invest in bitcoins.
Hi guys. I went back 3,000 years and waiting for this post to appear again. AMA.
Being made immortal and being sent back 3,000 is a bonus.
I don't know, giving up indoor plumbing is tough.
I'd accept eternal youth and immunity from disease, but not immortality. Invincibility is one thing, living forever is a curse.
Fuck that. I'll be happy to die when I'm 80 or whatever and keep living this century.
Well, I'm a fertile female. 3,000 years ago there was few to no effective contraception available. So how many kids am I going to give birth to and watch dying? Also, immortal doesn't mean not getting sick. 3,000 years of diarrhea, toothache, rotting wounds, fevers, smallpox, plague, lepra and other wonderful things before effective medicine is invented would definitely make me wish I was rather mortal. So no, I'm definitely a no-goer.
Maybe. The past sucked for women, especially ones that don't want to get it on with men. But if I went back in time, I could maybe try improving the world of the future. I guess the moment I save the Library of Alexandria from burning, the future would be hard to predict. Really, going back in time and becoming immortal would be something I'd do out of selflessness, not out of a desire for immortality, since it's likely we'll get that in our lifetimes anyways.
I would found every major religion and set June 21st, 2017 as the day of my return. Shit's about to go down. Edit. So apparently that's 33 people's birthdays. The chosen few will be spared. Winking face. Birthday cake.
Get laser eye surgery before I go. Contacts and glasses will be damned hard to come by for quite a while.
Invent as many things as I could possibly remember, including publishing as many recipe books and cocktail recipes as possible. Use the respect I earn from these to become an advisor to some emissary or military leader who I know will do well, and use what I remember to make them think I'm a strategic genius. Then as time progresses towards present day, the rumors of my work and the fact that I lived my life in the public eye for thousands of years to become a living legend, then surround myself with all the most powerful armies from societies trying to buy my advice and guidance, before bringing them together to form the biggest military force spearheaded by the immortal genius, before lying to everybody by telling them I am a messenger from God. That is how I knew all I did, placing myself as the only true, undeniable Messiah. Using this position I would crown myself king of earth, unable to be dethroned because I never age and cannot be killed. Then push the greatest minds available to advance technology towards space travel to utilize interplanetary resource mining, to form what I would call the biggest defense mechanism for a prophecy of an impending destructive alien force which I will say I viewed as defeating with said weapon. Unbeknownst to the citizens of Earth, it will actually be an earth-shattering doomsday device which I will use to scorch the Earth and destroy all life. I will in the meantime escape into space before detonating so I can watch the destruction with the best view, before ejecting myself into space, aimlessly floating through the void for the rest of eternity, until the universe collapses in on itself, where I will unconsciously exist forever in the nothing.
Hell yeah, I get the chance to become extremely rich and bang some of the most famous people in history, as long as my body doesn't age. Be playing chess with death at the end of the universe.
But it's only 2017? Question mark.
Be Pythagoras before Pythagoras, Newton before Newton, Einstein before Einstein, Descartes before the horse, etc.
Probably spend my days tied to a post for being a heretic for disagreeing with the wrong people. I would. I'd record history, traveling the world, employing artists to make portraits of important people and events in history. Figure out a way to secure the information so that it won't be lost, destroyed. I would probably spend many years deciding if limiting my own influence in history would be a good or a bad thing. Possibly set up a bunch of fake, well-hidden things to discover on purpose to mess with ancient aliens people. I'd make people far away from Egypt, small communities somewhere, worship the god Kek.
Become the Senate.
Yes. And I would build a glorious empire.
Definitely accept, then go back in time and sleep with as many women from different tribes and continents. Be a more mysterious and back Genghis Khan.
Of course I would. There's so much shit I could do in 3,000 years whilst waiting to return to present day.
I would probably travel to every continent, learn their ways, then I would spend my time reading books, and become a wizard. Does immortality include invincibility? Because not dying from old age is not gonna keep you alive for 3,000 years. Plagues, violence, accidents, infections, natural disasters and bad decisions are going to get you killed before you even get to see the Roman Empire rise to power. If immortality included invulnerability from all possible harm, I'd take it. I'd use my reasonable knowledge of history to stay out of hot spots and avoid changing history while exploring and recording as much of it as possible. Hide for thousands of years and do crunches in a cave. Ripped when I come out.
Consider subscribing.